Dolphins fan. Here we are with Sports Night with Jorge. Going to give you a little bit of news that I got looking at the Dolphin roster that's going on. They still got to cut $28 million or $38 million out of their cap. But before I do that, let me give you some spring training baseball scores. The Orioles had a split squad today. They lost the first game to the Rays 8-3. Won the second game against the Braves 2-1. We had the Angels beating the Giants 11-9. Dodgers beat the Rockies 9-4. The Athletics beat the Diamondbacks 9-8. The Guardians beat the Padres 7-4. And earlier in the day, we had the Rangers beat the White Sox 4-2. The Reds beat the Brewers 8-3. The Royals blanked the Cubs 6-0. The Mariners blanked the Reds 2-0, which that was a split squad too. We have the Red Sox beating the Phillies 7-6. The Blue Jays beat the Pirates 8-4. The Yankees beat the Twins 9-2. And the Marlins end up with a 1-1 tie versus the Cardinals. And also the Mets beat the National 6-3. And the Astro lost to the Tigers 4-0. Now, guys, it's getting interesting. We're getting closer to the free agent date of March 13th. Looking at the Dolphin roster, across the roster, this team could actually cut more players, save more money. They can also restructure contract. I was looking at statistics and players in the team that I would like to keep for this year. Of course, we have A-Chain, who had a good season, even though he got injured. He had 103 attempts for 800 yards rushing for a 7.8 average with 8 touchdowns. Just only had one fumble. You got Burials, too, even though he said goodbye. I think it was Instagram or somewhere he put posted something that he was leaving the Dolphins. That's a guy that I would like to keep. You got Brooks. I would like to keep him. Esakama, another guy you should keep. You got Tariq Hill. Raheem Mostert. Tua Tagovailoa, of course. Mike White as your backup, which possible he could get cut. I mean, you save money there. He didn't play much the whole year last year. I think he only had 6 attempts for 5 completions for 74 yards. If I'm quite sure. Looking at the reception, you got Chosen, Claypool, Craycraft. I mean, they got good teams. Tight end Hill, Jay Hill, the tight end Smythe. You got Cedric Wilson, who had a decent year. I mean, you got to look at the Dolphins. I think they have a good roster to keep as a second team roster. I don't think they have to, but they do have to cut these players. Eli Apple should be gone. Baker should be gone. Bethel, I mean, it's okay. You got Bourne, the rookie. Campbell should be gone. The question here is between Chubb and Phillip. Who do you keep? You go with the young guy. You should keep the young guy. The young guy is the one you should really want to keep in your lineup. Nothing with Chubb. Chubb had a good year, too. I mean, he had an excellent year. I think he had like 11 sacks before he got injured. So, you got Elliott. He could be gone. I mean, another cut. Now, you got Holland. Of course, Xavier Howard is gone. Ingram, they signed him late. He probably won't be with us either. So, they got some good things to do in their lineup that they can move around and start changing the players. You got Riley, he should be gone. Sealer signed a big contract. That's what my issue is. One guy that I would like the Dolphins to really take care of, who had a great season, even though he got injured, it's Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel had a great year, guys, before he got injured. Great, solid defensive player. And then you got Wilkins. Are they going to tag him or they're going to cut him loose and make a trade? I'll bring Burials back. Good punt returner. You got Cedric Wilson. From there, from their lineup, they got a good, decent lineup. Now, they could structure this contract and they could release good players before the 13 hits. Remember, you got those 2 days that you can't tamper with no NFL teams and the league. And remember what happened to the Dolphins? They got fined and they lost a draft pick. So, and I think the owner got suspended for 6 games or something like that. So, you know, Miami has a tremendous a tremendous roster that they could actually play with. Uh, they could get some cap space. Now, who you want to keep in the long run? Now, see, Miami is not in a rebuilding mode. Let me say that again. They're not in a rebuilding mode. They're here to win it all this year. And I feel very good about that decision of winning it all. They got good players. They got excellent players. Of course, they'll build through the draft. They built for the 53-man's roster. They're going to build through the free agency. Who can they get, to cover those hoses? So, you know, same thing as the other team in the league. They'll do the same thing. What are your needs? But I still believe they have to use their complete 53-man roster to see what they have in place to compete in this league. It is so hard to compete in the NFL. We know that. Okay. Today I was actually talking to somebody, and they say, imagine if you have a running back that average 5 yards a carry. You got 2 downs to pick up 5 yards. See, nowadays in the NFL, it's so hard to pick up 5 yards in 2 attempts. Okay. It might sound easy to be done. It could be done. But right now, the league is so competitive. I mean, you got good players out there. One guy I'm hearing that will help probably Tua Tagovailoa will be the guy from the Tennessee Titans, Hendry, the running back. That'll be a good pick for the Dolphins. I mean, hopefully it'll be a good pick, and that will help Miami a lot. Especially, I'm more worried about the offensive line. Now, I haven't spoke about the offensive line, but one guy that really, really I'm concerned, and I know he's a great, great, player, offensive player, but he's injury pro. And you know who I'm talking about, Terrell Armstead. I mean, Terrell, and he needs to really either make a decision, the toe injury and the foot injury and, playing so much years in turf in New Orleans. And that's been haunting him since he came into the league. So, I look at the Dolphins, like I say, it is a solid team. Like I said, this is a sports show. I'm not going to bring any negativity. They got Tariq Hill. One thing is they should pick up a tight end, because I remember when Tua Tagovailoa had Gasicki, man, he was having a good, and Waddle before this guy came in, before Hill came in, he was playing pretty good. So, I think Miami should change his strategy a little bit. I know it's going to be a running team. That I'm gonna tell you, for 2024, prepare for a running team. They'll be passing, but I think their goal is running the ball. They got great, solid running backs that will help this team develop. And a positive note, like I said, I think they have a good coaching staff. I know everybody has been picking on McDaniel. He's in the hot seat. You hear all these rumors, all these people prediction. Well, Miami, it's not going to be good enough if they don't change this. Well, guess what? Sometimes changes are good and changes are bad. And I predict this team is going to win the Super Bowl this year. I really do. I really believe it. I know it's hard to say. It's too early. Like I say, it is very early. But, their foundation of the roster that they have, it is amazing that with the second players they have, they can build around this team. I mean, it's pretty good. They're pretty solid. If they lose a player, I don't think it's going to hurt them at all, to be honest with you. I think they have enough to produce in the field, looking at their roster. What's going to happen? Okay, question is Tua's going to become a Dolphin? Are they going to pick probably the fifth-year option, let him play the 5th year and see what happens and give him a contract? I mean, the guy deserves the contract. Come on, guys. He led the league in passing. Has a good rating also. You got to give guy credit where the credit's due. Tyreek Hill, I remember when they came into the league with the Dolphins and he joined the Dolphins and he came into the league and he played with Tua, he was saying, man, this guy's very accurate. This guy has an arm. People don't believe him. They criticize the guy. He can't throw over 50 yards. Well, he proved them wrong. I would like to see Tua as a more mobile quarterback. And I know you guys say, well, that sounds scary to move around the pocket. But remember, he's going to have to do it because of the offensive line. See, that's the only key issue that I see with the Miami Dolphins. I don't see no other fissure no other problem in the defensive side, but on the offensive side, I think is the offensive line. They need to get a pretty solid offensive line to protect Tua, to run the ball. You know, when you have a combination of throwing and passing, you're going to throw all this defense out, completely out. I mean, they don't know who's going to cover at the end of the day. It's hard to cover Tariq O'Reilly, and then you got Waddle coming back, which I hope he comes back healthy. Then you have a tight end. That's amazing. Then you have a good running back in the back. I mean, it's gonna be hard to defend this team. But if they use the correct strategy that they need to use in the ball club, and that goes in general for every NFL team. Let's be honest. Sometimes you got to put the piece of the puzzle together to help your team, move forward and go forward to the next level. I know predictions are early. I don't predict early because I just see it like it is. Like I told you guys, I'm a very positive guy. I don't uh I don't look at negativity. I look at positivity. What they can do to help each other. What can they do to advance where they want to advance? Injury, yes, we know that. Injury is part of the game. So looking at the roster, I mean, they have a great roster. I gotta feel that A Chain, Muhammad, you know, they got good running backs. Mostert. I mean, they got good running backs. They get a Hendry, which is a beast, a big guy, strong guy, heavy. I mean, that's gonna present issues to a lot of our team in the NFL. The guy's amazing, but once again, you can't get injured in this league, but everything is possible. Come on, let's be honest. We're human. You know, we get a headache. We go over there over the counter, get something to drink, and my headache goes away. These people playing physical football, they're getting hit in their bodies. We're not. So, just to bring that up, I mean, it's amazing how people interpret or misinterpret stuff by looking at the individual. You know, maybe Henry has good years with Tennessee. Well, maybe you go to Miami you know and he has the best way got. So sometimes some of these players need to change a little bit, change from team to team to see what they have, you know. And sometimes some players perform in other teams better than the other team. And one thing I want to bring up too that people are talking about, in sports, is about, quarterbacks. You got Young from the Panthers, Justin Field with the Chicago Bears. Guys, when you put these quarterbacks with offensive coaches that has different schemes, it's not going to work. Okay? You need to put the right scheme for this quarterback. If he's a pocket passer, he's a pocket passer. If he's a runner, he's a runner. If he throws to his left, throw to his right, he's a mobile quarterback. You have to set up a scheme for these quarterbacks. These quarterbacks are different, and they go into these teams, with a game plan or game book, and says, "Here, I want you to do this," and something they never done. Yes, they can learn about it. Yes, they can look videos. They can do whatever they want. But it's not the same thing, guys. You know, that's not the quarterback the way he is. I mean, college from NFL, come on, we know it's a big difference. So you got to look at that. And look at the Miami roster. I'm telling you, from defense, from offense, I mean, they're solid. Now the offensive line, no, they need to do something. What killed Miami basically was a lot of players not playing their positions. You have center playing left guard. You have left guard playing right guard. And that's not good, okay? Because that really throws off the actual strength of the offensive line when you play a position. If you're the best center in football, what are you doing playing right guard? That it doesn't mean can you play it? No, I'm not saying you cannot play it, but that's not your position, and that's something you have to learn. People have to understand that in football, you know, it's good to learn different positions. It's good, okay, but you have to also know what are your best. What are you best at? Okay, doing what is your best. If you're a center, keep them a center. Don't change it. But due to the injuries, and one thing I'm disagreeing a lot, that I'm seeing a lot from the Dolphins and the NFL team, stop picking these guys from the street, man. And I hate to say it that way, and I don't mean to say it that way, and I'm not mean about it to say it. Is you pick these players out of the street, man. Let's get okay. I understand you give people opportunity. You have to, okay. But once again, I'm gonna go back to your 53-man roster. So what do you have players standing in the sideline, okay, looking at the fans and looking at the game when you could give them an opportunity? And sometimes, Dolphins right there. I think, and not only Dolphins, a lot of teams too, really, really hurt themselves, you know. And I understand that you go and you get from other people roster, you pull the players, which they have, which I think each team has like 4 or 5 uh, in their roster that they could use. They could move around and you could pick from the roster. I forgot what it's called, but anyhow, you guys understand what I'm trying to say. And you keep these players there and you pick them up. I mean, what good does it do? You know, yeah, I'm happy they're giving opportunity to those players, but what about your roster? I mean, you have to have confidence in your roster, in your whole entire team. I don't care if you play college, if you play pro ball, whatever you play, whatever your experience is, but you have to use that player because most of them comes from college. I see it from USFL, I'm seeing it from the XFL, I'm seeing all these players coming out of there. Man, they're good. They go to the NFL, they fail. They go to the XFL, well, everybody says, well, that league is a joke. Okay, it might be a joke, but at the same time, man, they come back to the NFL, you know, and they succeed with the team they go to. Cameron Wake came, I think, if I'm not quite sure, from a Canadian league, went to the NFL, became, actually right now, probably a Hall of Famer. I mean, it's surprising what you see, all these players coming out from these other places that you say, what in the world, man? They come to the NFL. Well, it's because you give them a chance and opportunity. And when you give them a chance and opportunity, well, they built their self-confidence and they become a good NFL player. If not good, well, they get cut. Unfortunately, that happens in football. But like I say, once again, man, have confidence in your team. Don't give up on your team. Like I say, it's going to be a pretty long season. Uh, I believe that anybody could win in any given Sunday. Preparation is one of the things that I see also that a lot of teams need to look at for 2024, and that's all NFL teams. How to prepare yourself. You know, it's amazing how these teams face each other in the division. Dolphins play Bills, the Jets, and New England. That's 6 games in their division. And I'm quite sure that you should already know your division. You know your team. The only thing you don't know is the player that's playing, but you know their scheme. You know what they're doing. If they run the ball, they pass the ball, are they a running team, are they a passing team? You know, one thing I did got disappointed when Vic Fangio left the Dolphins to Philadelphia, which for me that was like a one-time thing, and I'm not saying that wow he came in and made a difference. Well, I think when Ramsey came back from the injury, that's when the difference came in. But then at the end, everything fall to piece. But it's okay, he moved because his family down in Philadelphia, and understandable. But you make those move, and see, we don't need those move in Miami. Getting those players just for or coaches just for half a season or mid season or 1 year, and let's see what happens. You see, Miami goal this last year was win the Super Bowl. And let's go back with the playoffs. Tua Tagovailoa is only 0-1 in the playoff. And man, are they criticizing this guy. Just because he's 0-1 and he's not good enough. He's not an elite quarterback. I don't have time, but I could tell you right now, I could sit here and tell you how many elite quarterbacks are out there right now that hasn't won a playoff or gone to the Super Bowl. So why are we making something so big? Okay? Yes, I understand. We want our team to win. That's everybody in the NFL. That's every fan in the NFL. Okay? But once again, you got to have a complete team. You got to surround your quarterback with excellent player. You got to surround your defense with excellent player. Okay? Sometimes you say, well, what in the world? I mean, Xavier Howard's going to hurt the Dolphins? Maybe, maybe not. Veteran guy, love the guy, wish him well. Okay. Emmanuel, same thing. Emmanuel Agba, great guy, wish him well. Okay. But sometimes you need some fresh leg. Now, I'm going to tell you something. The Dolphins are not into a rebuilding mode. The Dolphins are into win it all. Okay. The good thing is with Phillip and Chubbs, unfortunately, one of those is going to stay and they're going to go to the young guy, which is Phillip. That's my personal opinion. Chubbs, nothing, knock him out. He had 11 sacks. I mean, he got hot at the end of the season, and then he got hurt. And once again, they want to blame the coach because he got hurt. I tell you once again, you could get hurt in the first quarter or you could get hurt in the fourth quarter. Let's stop making excuses, guys. Okay? This is pro football. Okay? It's a physical sport. You could get hurt at any given time. Okay? So let's be honest. I'm like I say, I'm an honest person, man. I'm realistic. I can't criticize. My God, if we would have taken him out against the Baltimore Raven game, we'd have had him healthy for the next game, and this not would have happened. It doesn't matter. Once again, I'm gonna say it. You got a 53-man roster. Use the player you need to use it. Put him in position. Let him play. Learn that. Let him play. You as a coach, I know you want the best in your team, But if you don't give a person an opportunity to show what they have, what talent they have, okay. Now let's be honest. I know you sit in these rooms and you study films, okay. Some people are bright, some people are not, but you got to give a person an opportunity. You got to give them a chance to show what they got. There's talents. I mean, there's people that have more talent than you expect. Tyreek Hill is amazing athlete, speed. I mean, the guy. That's why they call him the cheetah. Then we got the water, which is the penguin. I mean, the guy's amazing too. Speed. Okay, but we don't need you to get hurt. But that's part of football, right? So so who's gonna back up those players when they go down? Get a scheme. Get a plan. And I tell you right now, Miami do have a plan. They do got a scheme. I think they're going to come out strong this year. I really do. I haven't looked at the schedule yet, but once it's released, and I think they already released a couple of schedule things, but they're changing dates and all that. So I'm not going to dwell on that right now because that's not important. But don't give up on your team. You hear the Dallas Cowboys with Prescott. Somebody says, man, you don't like to have Prescott in the Dolphins? Sure, why not? Okay. Is Prescott's going to make a difference? We don't know that. He hasn't played in the Dolphin uniform. One thing that's amazing, guys, that I hate to see this, and I hope it doesn't happen. And this happened a lot to the Dolphins. And if you've been a Dolphin fan for many years, you know this. How many Dolphin player has left the Dolphins and won the Super Bowl with other teams? Wes Walker. That's one of them. I can name you more, but so imagine if the people criticizing Tua Tagovailoa. Well, he's not elite. He's not a good quarterback. This man goes to another NFL team and take him to the Super Bowl. What are you going to say? What are your reaction in your comments? Oh, he got lucky? Well, that could have been us. We don't know that, guys. That's why you got to be very, very careful when you make suggestions like that and decisions and criticize a player. See, like I say, this program, I don't criticize nobody. I'm a person that give people chance, man. You got to give these players chances to succeed, to make it in the NFL. Listen, we all know it is so hard to make it in this league. The NFL is not easy. When it comes to schedule, weather, time, there's everything. I mean, you got prime time, you got Monday night, you got Sunday night, you got Thursday night. I mean, body change. You go to California, you go to Los Angeles. I mean, think about it, guys. There's everything in common that people don't understand that you have to look at it and say, wait a minute. I remember when Miami, the first game of the season, Miami went to play the Chargers. Oh, man, they got to hit the road. It's going to be tough for them. They beat the Chargers. Nobody gave them a chance. I remember when the season started. They didn't give Tua a chance. Man, hip injury, concussion. Now he's doing jiu-jitsu. We don't know how that's going to work. Is he going to make it through a 17-game season? Well, hallelujah, praise God, he did. He did play 17 games. And not only that, he led the league in passing. and his rating was pretty awesome. But anyhow, I'm gonna let you go with this. You know, stay positive, keep positive. You know, be bold, like the Bible says, man. We're strong. Hold yourself. Remember, it's just a sport. It's entertainment. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. And once again, guys, I want to wish you guys a blessed night and talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.